Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, which I'm combining with a series I'm doing with MK over on her channel, and it's called Color Craze. So for 30 Days of Sketches, the sketch we have today was created by Rachel Usher, and I thought it was a really cool sketch. And then we are using this dusty teal color palette, but we can use any color that's in there, so not just the teal. There are some more brownish tones in there and some grays, and so you can use anything that's in there. It doesn't have to be just the teal portion of it. And so I had that bottom portion of the paper there, which was the front page off of a Moda Scrap pack of paper, and it's really like a sampling of all of the papers that are in that package, and I really liked it. So I'm just trying to find something that goes with the top portion, or to put with it to be the top portion, because I don't have another sheet of that. It's really just the packaging. So I wish they would make an entire sheet of that particular one, because it was really cool. So I'm auditioning several different pieces. I also cut the white portion that is going horizontally from that same piece of paper that is the packaging. And so I'm just kind of playing with it. And I thought that one looks pretty cool, but it was a little bit on the light side for me. Just tried to figure out exactly what I liked. So I end up with a brown, and it seems like a kind of odd choice when you put it next to it. It doesn't quite look as nice as some of the other ones that I auditioned. But when it all is said and done, it was the choice that I liked best, given the other portions or the other pieces that I was going to put on this page. So I'm going to use some wood veneer. This pack of wood and acrylic was from MK Gunn's Some Assemblage Required Etsy shop, and I'm just using the 3 pieces of wood out of it, which are a couple of whales and a stingray. So trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to put behind those guys to make them pop off the page, but I do know that I want to use them. The picture is a picture of Noah and the little girl that I watch at the aquarium, and they have like an outside viewing area of the ocean that's got benches and stuff that you can sit on, kind of in a not theatrical, in a theater style. So they are raised in the back, so you can kind of see over people in the front and whatnot, but they are right up front by the glass railing, and that way they can see the entire ocean. We had snacks out there, and they really enjoyed looking at it. And then the dome area down below is like where the actual surf comes in from the ocean, and it just kind of like it's like a tide pool type area, but you don't go in it, so they can kind of go underneath that area and watch all of the waves hit. It's kind of cool. So I am just inking up everything with some walnut stain distress ink, and it's just the regular ink, not the oxide ink. And then I am going to pair these two together, and then I am adding those white pieces, and I don't mind that they don't meet up in the center, because I am going to put my photo there, and so it's not going to matter. But I want the 2 weathered areas to be on the outside and the outer edges of the layout, so that it shows more. And I'm liking the way that that's looking. Also liking that there is less of the darker brown showing up at the top. But I am going to use these cut files also from MK's shop. These were in her shop quite some time ago. I don't even know that they're still there. I don't think they are, but I really liked those, and so I thought those were perfect. There's got some coral and some kelp and such, and so I am using this coral one, which I'm not even sure that I'm making it the right color, but you know what? It's going with the Color Craze option or choice for today that we made. And so I am using some media gloss spray from Dina Wakley. I'm using some in sage and in aloe, and then I was going to pull in some in, I think it's called Ancient, but my sprayer wouldn't work, so I set that aside, and I add some dilutions in desert sand and some dilutions in some chopped pesto. There's the desert sand. And then I add some dilutions in Calypso Teal to kind of go more with the teal than the colors that I have currently on it. I wanted to make it a little more rich and a little more vibrant and to really stick with that palette. So it looks pretty cool how it is right now, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out exactly what I want to spray, and that's when I go, I'm going to just go for it and add the teal. Wasn't sure how it was going to look over the brown and the other greens, but I do still spray a little bit more sage and aloe over the top just to kind of lighten it up just a tad. And then I add a little bit more of that desert sand, because the desert sand is also a shimmer spray. It adds some sparkle to it, and I really like the way that this piece turns out. It's really pretty. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. While I dry that, I'll remind you that there is a hop going on for 30 days. There's a playlist down below with all of the videos that you can see so far to date that have been released. And there is a link down below for MK's channel, so you can see what she's doing for Color Craze today. And you can also see what she has in her Etsy shop. I will include the link for that down below as well. I don't believe she has the pieces that I am using today currently over there, unless they are in a bundle. So you might have to search and see if she's got that, but she is a one that you should always keep an eye out for and watch, because she is always changing stuff in her shop. It doesn't stay in there for eons. You know, when she sells out, she might restock once and then she's pretty much done. She doesn't really keep things in there for the long term, so you don't want to miss what she's got going on over there, because once it's gone, it's going to be hard to get. Okay, so I was going to spray this piece of coral with the Media Gloss spray in sand, and my sprayer was not working. So I went and washed it out, and then I sprayed it with the Apricot Media Gloss, and then again with the sand. But the sand was spraying really funky. It was kind of like it was spraying like a big blob instead of an actual spray. And so I went back in and sprayed it again with some of the Apricot and some of the desert sand in dilutions, just to kind of give it some more sparkle. And I did that because I really want a different color layer behind the teal one. So this one's going behind the teal. Oh, I also sprayed it with Medieval, which is from Dina Wakley's Media Gloss, and it is sparkly also, and it's kind of like a grayish blue kind of color. And so I'm happy with the way that ends up turning out, because I didn't want to make it the same as the other one, because I want the layers to definitely be their own layers. And I think this is actually more of a closer color to what coral really is, but I'm not too worried about that either. You know, it's a layout. If it's not 100% realistic, that's okay. But I really like the way that it looks with the wood animals and with the wood grain. So having that extra sparkle and having it be that lighter peachy apricot color really helped that to stand out from that darker background. And I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere it, just because a lot of these pieces are very delicate, and using my tape runner was just not a very good option. So just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive really helps with that. And as you can see there, I did cut some off of the right hand side of each one of those cut files, so I could take it over to the right hand side and tuck it underneath that important memo information, or journaling spot. And that's where I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of journaling about the day. I'm not going to do that bit on camera, but I am going to go ahead and do it later. And then I also use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere down all of these wood bits. And I'm really liking the way that they are framing the layout. This is just another piece that was left over from one of those two pieces that I already colored up. The starfish there, I cut that off. I actually added a little bit more of the Media Gloss in a color called Blushing, which is kind of like a pinkish color. Well, it's not pinkish. It is pink, but it's kind of like a almost salmony pink. And because of the other colors on it, it just made it kind of like a really dark color. So it's not, it doesn't look pink on screen or even in real life. but I am happy with the way that it looks. So adding a little bit of that liquid glue to adhere all of my wood pieces down, and then I just put my acrylic blocks on them to hold everything in place while I try and figure out what I'm going to do for my title. So I end up pulling out a really old pack of thickers, and I am going to spray those, making sure I have all of the correct letters to spell out the word aquarium. And I'm going to spray them with the same colors that I sprayed that first coral piece with. So it's going to have that teal and that desert sand sparkle to it. And I really like how they turn out. It's very subtle, like a subtle difference, because the background, it almost blends into the background, but not so much that you can't see it. So I like the way that that looks, and I just use my heat gun to kind of heat it up and dry everything off. And because of the media gloss, it makes everything very shiny. So because the media gloss is an acrylic spray, it is definitely more like a paint. It's harder to clean up off of like my glass mat and whatnot, but it does leave everything shiny. Not shiny in the sense that it's metallic, but shiny in the sense that it has a gloss finish. So I'm liking the way that that's looking, and then I'm just going to spell out the words Monterey Bay in these small white Paige Evans stickers, the foam ones there, and tuck that in right above where it says Aquarium. And I'm just kind of playing with the spacing here and making sure it's all going to fit, and I'm going to be able to fit the words Monterey Bay above it. And it fits fine. There's no problems, and I love how it ends up turning out. So I'm very happy with the way that this layout came out. I am going to use my ruler, my T-square ruler, just to make sure everything is lined up. Probably could have done that before I put the wood veneer pieces down, because my T-square ruler would have laid flat a lot better. But I also would not have been able to figure out the spacing as well, because the wood veneer pieces would not have been framing it. So, it would have messed up where the placement of the wood veneer is. But it all worked out in the end, so I'm happy with that. And I do use my tweezers for that, because just I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that, because like if I'm holding it with my fingers, I can't really see exactly the placement of it. And because they're foam, the letters, they kind of, I don't want to say they squish around, but they are far more pliable than like a chipboard letter, and getting like the T straight up and down in, it's much easier if I'm using my tweezers than if I'm using my fingers. So I'm just making sure that I had it all lined up, and that is pretty much it, you guys. I am going to use a little bit more of the desert sand sparkles or shimmer spray from Dilutions and sprinkle that around, and I will put links to all of those products down below so that you can check them out if you are interested. And as you saw the note go across the screen at the beginning there, I do use affiliate links. It doesn't cost you any extra, and it does benefit me just a tad. So if you are inclined to use that, I do appreciate that as well. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, I would love for you to go ahead and leave those down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will be back again with another video soon. Bye-bye.